If you recently bought one of these, you might be wondering, how exactly am I supposed to build it? Luckily for you, we're here to show you just that. First of all, you're going to need a flathead screwdriver. You want to make sure that it's a relatively small flathead, as a big one is simply not going to work on the Echo. This is optional, but it's handy to have a pair of pliers around. And you definitely need 6 AA batteries. You want to make sure that they are AA's and not AAA's or anything else. When you open the package for the first time, you're going to see a couple of things in here. First off, it's going to be the Echo. Specifically, it's going to be the Founders Edition if you got here early enough. Next up, you're going to see an antenna. So make sure you keep this. It's not mandatory for every use case, but it is handy to have. You're also going to see the bag containing the actual Zippy stuff. So this is going to include the motors, wheels, battery holder, connectors, everything you need inside this bag. And last but not least, you're also going to see a couple of 3D view stickers, just as a little freebie that we give you guys. So, inside of the packaging, we're going to have the main bag containing all of the actual Zippy parts. In this bag, you're going to find a pair of TT motors. You're going to find the Zippy chassis itself, and notice this is going to have the battery holder already pre-installed. You will need to take it out, and you will need to be very careful about it. It's going to be a very simple, just lift it slightly, push it out towards the wheelbase over here, and then just lift, like so. You're going to find the battery connector. Now this goes with this, and we're just going to put it aside for now. You're going to find a rocker switch. You're going to find 2 wheels for Zippy. Now these connect directly to the motors. You're going to find a wire splicer, so this is going to be very useful later on. Make sure to hang on to this. You're going to find 2 guards, 2 wheel guards. You're going to find a couple of these pins over here. We're going to put them in a bag. Make sure to hang on to them. They're very small and also very fragile. Last but not least, we're also going to see the casserole over here. We're going to start off with the Zippy chassis, and we're going to start off by mounting the motors. So what we're going to do is, we're going to grab the chassis. The motors are going to go right in these ports over here. Now, as you can tell, there's going to be a little slit over here. You have to align it perfectly to the tip of the motor over here. And you also want to make sure the motor has 2 sides. There's going to be one side that has this circle on it and one side that does not. You want the side that does not to be facing the outer part of the robot. We're going to put the motor over here. Again, side without the circle facing out. Simply, we're just going to push. It should just click in. We're going to grab the other one, do the same thing. So again, side with the circle is going to be inside of the Echo facing this way. Insert it. Simply, we're just going to push. There we go. Next up, we're going to start out with the rocker switch. So this is going to be turning the robot on and off. So as you can see over here, the little dash means on and the circle means off. So this is off, this is on. What we're going to do is we're going to guide the wires through this hole over here, this rectangle, like so. And then it's going to be pretty simple. So what we're going to do is, once it's guided through, is we're going to push the rocker switch through. So you just click in, like so. Next up, we're going to go and do the casserole. So pretty simple. You're just going to grab the casserole. You're going to just push it down here, like so. It should snap right into place. You can verify with just rolling it. Next up, we're going to do the wheels. So we're going to grab our 2 wheels. They're both the same wheels, so it doesn't matter which one you pick for which side. The only thing that matters is that you align the centerpiece with the motor. So each wheel is going to have this little oval shape. You just want to make sure that it aligns with the motor's oval shape over here. So all we're going to do is just simply align it, like so. Once it's aligned, you may need to rotate it a bit until it goes through. Once it's aligned, all you're going to do is just simply push it in. You might need to apply a little bit of force into it. But once it's in, it should be tightly secured, so you can do a little test. Just try to push it around like that. If it doesn't fall off, then that means you did it right. You can verify, just spin it a bit. Now we're going to do the next one. So again, just align it like so, and then just push it in. The motors might come a little looser in this process, so all you gotta do is just push them back in. You're all set. Next up, we're gonna do the echo. So you're gonna grab a bag with the echo. Take it out. Once you have your echo, depending on when you're watching this video and when you got your order, this might be blue, that's okay. It's still the same board. You want to align it with the board in such a way that the motor drivers, so the little green ports over here, are facing that way. So it should look like this. The end of the motors should also be where the green ports are facing. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab your pins over here. We're going to start off with one. And we're simply going to put a pin right over here. It should go through the echo, through the chassis, and just click into place. We're going to start off with this one over here. Might be easier to actually put the pin through the echo first. Then you grab our Zippy. Make sure you align it to the 4 holes over here. So there's a hole on each side. Make sure you align the pins to the holes. You're going to put it through, and then just push. Like so. Some stuff might come loose, just push it back in. And the pins need a little bit of force to be pushed through, but once they're in, it should be nice and secured. We're going to do a cross pattern. So if we already put a pin over here, what we're going to do is we're going to put a pin over here next, just so the echo is more aligned. This is when a pair of pliers might actually come in handy. So you just kind of have to align it in such a way that the pliers have something to hold off from, and the pins do too. So what you're going to do is just push through, and once it clicks, you're all set. Make sure you have to be absolutely careful when using a plier. You don't want to damage the echo itself. We're going to go here and just push it through like so, and last one in. So. Again, some stuff might come off loose, just push it back in, it should be good, nice and secure. Next up, we're going to start wiring the echo. We have a black and a red wire coming out of the rocker switch over here. Now, typically, black is going to be your ground and red is going to be your power or VIN. But in this case, it does not matter because the actual circuit is going to look something like this. The red wire from the battery and the black wire from the battery need to be respected. This is going to be your ground, this is going to be your VIN. What's actually going to happen is that the rocker switch is going to connect. So these two wires are actually connected. If I apply some voltage into this wire, I'm also going to see it on this wire over here. You do not, under any circumstance, want to connect the red wire from the batteries to the red wire in the rocker switch and the black wire from the battery to the black wire of the rocker switch at the same time, because this is going to cause a short circuit, and what's going to happen is that this is going to catch on fire. Do not do this, please. The way that we're going to wire this is we're going to put the red wire from the rocker switch in the VIN port of the echo. The VIN port of the echo can be found right over here. You know it's going to be the VIN because it's also going to be labeled, but generally it's always going to be this one over here. Now you're going to grab your small flathead. Again, you want to make sure it's a fine tip because a larger one will not work on the screw-in terminals. And we're going to begin by just unscrewing the terminal first. What you want to do is just route your red wire from the rocker switch, again, only from the rocker switch. You're going to put it in the VIN. You want to hold it, and then you're simply just going to tighten the terminal. Make sure you push it all the way in, and make sure that you tighten it snugly, so not super tight, but also not loose so that the wire would come up. So just when you start feeling some resistance, give it a few more turns, and you should be good to go. You can give it a little stress test by just pulling on the wire. If the wire does not come off, then you did it right. Next up, we're not going to connect this cable into the ground port of the Echo, because then that would not do anything. What we're going to do is we're simply going to grab our battery holder. We're going to find the red wire, and we're going to connect it to the black wire of the rocker switch. Now, how are we going to do this? Well, in the contents bag, we discussed this wire splicer, and it works as a lever splicer. So what you're going to do is you're going to open both sides like so. You just push on it, pull on it, and you're going to insert the Zippy rocker switch black wire into the lever nut like so. Then push down on the side you connected. Now it's nice and secured, it won't come off. And you're going to do the same thing for the red wire of the battery holder. So you're just going to push it through, push down. Now, it would also help if you just take this connector off the battery holder for now, as we don't need the actual battery holder right now. And now we have this. So it's red to black, essentially. Typically, this is never a good idea, but just because of how the rocker switch works, that's how it's going to be over here. Always make sure that you know that this is okay, and I'm telling you right here, in this case, it is. Finally, we're going to grab the black wire from the battery holder connector over here, and this one we're actually going to put into the ground connector. So the ground connector will be the one right next to the VIN in the Echo, which would be this one in this case. Same thing as before, we're just going to unscrew. Make sure it's nice and loose. Then simply just grab the wire, push it through, all the way through. And we're just going to tighten it back in. Again, you want to tighten it with one hand pushing the wire in just to make sure it doesn't come off by accident. And then the other one is just going to tighten the connector over here. And again, you want it to be snug, not super tight, not super loose. Give it a little stress test, and if it doesn't come off, then you did it right. So now you should have something like this, and the battery and power management is fully wired, so all you have to do now is just connect these two. But we're not going to do that right now. What we're going to do now is we're going to wire the motors themselves. Now, it's good to kind of like braid the wires, as it is shown here. You just have to grab both ends and just twist them together like so. You don't want to overdo it, but you want to do it just enough so it gives you a tighter wire like this, and it just makes it nice and neat. Now we're going to move on to connecting the motors into the drivers. So you have 6 ports to choose from. It doesn't really matter which one you pick it. It's only going to matter for code. So in this case, we're going to pick 1 and 6 just because they're the closest ones. Now, Zippy offers a nice little wire management section for the motors. So this hole over here is where you can route your wires from. We're going to grab our wires and we're just simply going to push them from under over here. Like so. Now once the wires are in, you can just pull them out. And this just makes it so that the wires are not scraping the floor. Makes it a little nicer to manage. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, just route them through this hole over here. Just pull it out. And there you go. Now, we need to loosen these connections over here. So simply just grab it like so. And what you want to do is just simply grab your 2 connectors over here. You're going to see again a black and a red wire. It doesn't matter which one you connect where, but just for consistency's sake and to make it easier to program, we're going to make black be the outermost and red be the innermost. So what this is going to look like is like this. We're going to grab our black connector, route it down over here. In the same way you connected the other wires, you're just simply going to have one hand or finger pushing it, then the other one with the flathead just screwing it in. And we're going to do the same thing for the red. Now again, you don't want to over tighten these, especially with the motor ones, because you might damage the little pin headers. So just enough so it's secured, like so. If you give it a little pull, the wire should not come off. And we're going to do the same thing now for the other side. So the braids came a little loose, we're going to redo them. So just simply twist and turn. Right about there is fine. And we need to loosen these. And again, black facing outwards, red facing inwards. Okay, there we go. So now we have the motor secured, the wire is secured as well. So if you give it a little pull, it will not come off. And that was more than good enough. As you can see, the wires are not going to be scraping the floor. They're going to be locked in this position just because of the way we routed them over here. Next up is going to be the wheel guards. So this is optional and it is cosmetic, but we highly recommend it so that way the wires and the battery terminals are not hitting the wheels. To install these, you're going to be looking out for the little hook pattern over here. So in this case, this is going to be our left. We know it's going to be our left just because it will align the way that it should be installed. So you're simply going to grab these wires over here, secure them like so. Do not put too much pressure to bend them. You're going to push the wheel guard through the hole and just kind of slide it a little bit forward. But you don't need to put a lot of pressure into this one. It should just stay like that. And now the wires can just, as you can see, the wires are not going to be touching the wheels. We're going to do the same thing for the other side. This one is more cosmetic, as there is nothing that's really going to touch there unless you have servos connected. So again, I'm going to align it and just put it in place. Give it a little push forward, down. Give it a little push forward, down this way. So now the Zippy is symmetrical, the wires are not touching, and there's only one thing left to do now, which is connecting the battery itself. So we're going to put the Zippy back on the table. This connector over here, you can simply just put it through in between the motors, the motor drivers and the capacitors here, like so. Don't put too much pressure to, and make sure not to bend these over here, but this is fine. Next up, we're going to grab our battery holder, and we're going to grab our AA batteries, and we're just going to start putting them into place. So this is basically the same for every single battery compartment, but the springs is where the flat side of the battery goes. And we're going to push them in like so. Now that we have all the batteries put in, we can simply turn the Zippy around. And the way this is going to go is you want to make sure that the battery terminals here are facing out. So, like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to push the battery in from here, from the middle, like so. Push it in, and then it should just pop right into place. And again, the two connectors over here should be facing outwards. So that now we can simply just grab this. Now, there's only one way to plug the battery holder, and it should perfectly align like so. So the big connector over here is going to align with the circular one over here, and the big one over here is going to align with the circular one over here. It's going to look like so. Now, if you did everything right, your Zippy should be able to turn on like so. Now, this is only on because again, we have the on mode on. You can turn it off for now. What if you want to add Bluetooth or Wi-Fi into this project? Well, that's a good thing that we included an antenna for you. So again, it's not mandatory, but it's a nice inclusion and it's there for you in case you need it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn off the Zippy. We're going to take the antenna out of the bag. And this comes in two pieces, so you have the actual antenna wire, and then the antenna itself. Right now, we're going to focus on the wire only, so typically there's going to be a couple of washers or a couple of connectors over here. You're going to take them all off, so that way it's just the thread of the antenna wire. And the way this is going to go is that Zippy has this hole over here, designed specifically for the antenna. We're going to route it from the bottom, like so. Hold it in place. You're going to grab the actual antenna component itself, and you're just going to screw it in. You actually want to screw it in from here, so you want to be rotating the golden piece as much as possible, just because this does rotate freely. And again, it doesn't need to be super tight, just it needs to be secured, and this is good enough. And we have the actual connector itself. You can route the connector through one of the routing holes over here, either one works. Now this is going to connect in this tiny port over here in the ESP32. It's a very hard connector and it's going to take a lot of tries, but all you have to do is essentially just line it up and just push it in, like so. You should hear a little click, and you know it's secured when it doesn't fall off. Be very gentle, as this connector is very fragile and can disconnect pretty easily. But as you can see, it's in. Now you don't need to worry about it. And there you go. That's the Zippy tutorial. So now when you turn it on, the entire Zippy and the Echo should turn on. There should be no electrical fires, hopefully. And you're good to begin programming.